that's why. So I didn't invite a
Did
lot
you
of
invite
people.
Na?
Yes, I invited Na.
Okay.
Yes, I invited just a few people.
The people who don't eat too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So does it mean that we are your enemies? Or we're
No,
all
it
friends?
doesn't. It doesn't.
Roland.
It's a family affair.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why. So there's
All right.
nothing behind
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Well, good morning to everybody
Good
as
morning.
well.
Good morning.
We're back.
Yes.
Aren't we?
We're back. We're
After
back.
a very busy weekend with the NPP parliamentary primaries. I know we're still talking about it. I think that Dom Kwabinya has been trending #1 since Saturday.
And
or even
Distasteful
before
has been trending.
Saturday as well. I know.
I thought Bantaman will follow closely, but it hasn't been. But it has been Dom Kwabinya.
Yeah.
And particularly at Distasteful, it's like even though the reports are supposed to celebrate Michael Quay's victory, it appears the interest is in Distasteful's loss.
Oh.
And so she's been trending. A lot of her videos are up on TikTok. Not that she uploaded them, but people have uploaded her arrival where she was, singing One Man Soldier. It's a One Man Soldier.
Or was it on the same day or a day before?
I don't know if it was the same
No,
day
I'm
or
not
maybe
sure.
it was a previous.
I think it was part of
previous
just
video.
the eve of the campaign,
Okay.
or the election, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'd seen that video before the main day of the election.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I particularly love the way she's been called, the TikTok MP. So I think it puts all matters into context. It also means that the delegates, even though they'll collect your money, also know what they want by way of who they want to serve them.
I guess so.
Speaking of collecting money, I don't know what you guys think about it, but while we followed Saturday's elections, the way delegates openly spoke about the amount of money they were expecting and how much they received, and the fact that they were actually saying that they had collected from this person, also collected from their opponents, and then they were going to decide who to vote for.
Exactly.
It appears the votes were going to go to the highest bidder, whoever pays more. And more aside money, we saw some branded television sets and sewing machines and other things, which actually brings up the conversation again on monocracy and monetization of our politics, and where that leaves who has the message of development and taking us from where we are and where we want to go. Are we going to vote for the people who have the message and ability to deliver, or who has the money to pay to delegates to come and vote for them? They've called it transportation and so on. But
branded TV. I don't know how they're going to refer to that. I mean, I don't know what excuse you can give. And Andy Apiakubi, who, by the way, retained his seat in the Santi Akim North constituency, complained bitterly about this. And he said that we're going to eventually have people who have no knowledge about lawmaking get into parliament because they have the money. And they can literally buy your votes. That's against those who have the expertise and the knowledge required. And for him, that's his concern. And I'm just wondering, has he been talking about this all this while, or it's only recently that he came to the realization that this is actually what is happening and has addressed the media? Because we've known this to happen for many years, and we've always had a conversation that there's a need to stem this in the bud. Nothing has been done about it. And you see, for me, the biggest shock was during the Orphan constituency elections, where these delegates came out and said, this person gave us 3,000 Ghana cedis, this person gave us, 2,000, and so that's why we're going to vote for the one who gave us more. Or this person hasn't given us yet, and so we're not going to vote for that person. When did we get to that? Because these delegates are very few, and they're the ones deciding who represents the constituency for the greater good of the nation. And so we have no choice but to accept who they elect. And that's where the major problem is. I don't think that they can bribe the entire nation if it comes to selecting who should represent the party. So something needs to be done about it. And it's not enough to just talk. I mean, we have to go beyond that. So we hope.
We've had past conversations about political party funding in terms of how the funding sources also need to be made public. And it's what's done in other civilized democracies as we have it. I think there's something wrong with the 1992 Constitution. Not entirely, but the aspect that tends to give arrogative powers, especially to the executive, where sometimes when it comes to the resource distribution is not equitable. And as a result of that, those who tend to vote, these individuals, for us to vote them into parliament, would have to wait a 4-year period before they have to determine their fate. And I think that within a 1-term period, there should be a way we have to put the political cycle, like the way we first did it in 1992, where we had the presidential election done differently, and then the parliamentary election. If we can have a presidential election, for example, the way we're going to have 2024 December 7, we can do for the presidency, the presidential election, and then wait in 2 years' time in 2026 and make a determination as to who we want to be in parliament. I think that within the structures of what we have currently, that also could solve the issues. But funding political parties, the way we have to take a look at what the regulations and laws are, we have to be more stringent. I think the Electoral Commission is not doing its work.
I mean, to a point where one of the, the executives comes on and says that if it wasn't for the fact that I'm in this position as a referee, I could have said kukrudu. But again, let me remain professional.
That's non-dom.
And I was shocked.
He clearly is a party political animal who has been put there. Very sad.
Well, let's pick our first caller this morning before we carry on. And we're asking you what you make of the NPP parliamentary primaries that took place over the weekend. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for joining us, sir. What's your name?
My name is Umar Farouk Sabonjira, and I'm reaching you from Tamale.
All right. Talk to us. How was it for you generally?
Actually, first and foremost, I would like to greet you and all your listeners. I want to use your platform to extend my congratulatory greetings to all the aspirants who were able to make it. But I want to appeal to the leadership of the party, from the constituency regional to national. They should wake up. We are always saying that we want to break the eight, we want to break the eight. Yes. Without the grassroots, we cannot break the eight. We have a lot of problems. And always, anytime I get opportunity, that's my worry. I am a grassroots communicator, and I know what I'm saying. Even the report that they are giving them, and they are at their various offices enjoying the air condition, most of them is not credible. We are the grassroots. We know what is going on. The leadership should wake up, or else the egg that we are aiming that we are going to break the egg. We will definitely break the egg, not the egg. So I want to appeal to the leadership of the party and some of the appointees. They are enemies to the party. The grassroots are suffering. Those who are, who always put their lives, sacrifice their limited resources, fighting for the party to come to power. They have been turned down. And everywhere you go, complaints are too much. Even currently, there's a problem in Yendi. And we appealing to the leadership to wake up and resolve those problems, because we can't afford to lose Yendi seat. And I want to appeal to all the other candidates. They are supporters. When we are writing on social media, let's avoid it. We need unity. The party is more important than any individual person. So I want to appeal to all the rank and file in the party. Let us remain calm. Let us united, and let's get some enough support and motivation through the leadership at the top, so that together we can able to break the egg. If not, I'm telling you the truth, we will break the egg, not the egg.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your very passionate contribution. X, not the 8.
Like former Twitter?
I'm not.
X.
I have no idea.
But I think it's very sad that for Yendi they have 2 individuals who are saying the election was won or was not won. So the 2 of them, that's Farouk as well as Shani, all of them decided to put out their congratulatory posters indicating that they won the election. But I think that the political party, the NPP, which is the governing party, needs to take the bull by the horn and make a decision on Yendi. It's been over how many hours? 48 hours.
48, yes.
And the General Secretary, as well as the Director of Elections, and even the Chair of the governing New Patriotic Party, has decided not to make any comment on the subject. Clearly, there are videos, even by our own correspondent, which is indicating that there were individuals who were putting in ballot papers while counting was ongoing. The individual, Shani Abibata, didn't have even a single one of her ballots counted. That cannot be a fair and just election. That is a fixed election. And Mr. Farouk, if he's watching this, should know that he's not the legitimate parliamentary member-elect of Yendi. This clearly is a sham. It cannot be a legitimate election.
Well, we're joined on the line now by Richard. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Richard.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes, Richard, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. What would you like to share on the NPP parliamentary primaries that took place on Saturday?
My main concern and worry is our monetization system.
Okay.
If care is not taken, before we realize, like Patrick Lumumba said, we, at the end of the day, rather vote people who have the money into leadership positions, but they don't have the ideas. And that is actually going to affect the country seriously. But when you look at it now, it's people who have money, they have the say. And people who have the ideas, they don't have the money, they don't have the say. Even if they speak, nobody will listen to them. The parties are looking at the people who can't bring money for them to run their affairs. The people who are even within the party and they don't have money, but they have the ideas. The party don't see them. Like you can even see Mr. Kubi complaining. He complained bitterly about it. So those who are there and they have the money, they don't have the ideas. They are the people who are rather leading the chat. And you can imagine the next 20 years, 30 years to come, if that's actually what is going to happen in Ghana. We elect people into parliament there. They go there, they don't have they can't say anything. And we can see the effect that we will have in Ghana here. So at least we need to actually find a way of seeing how we regulate the funding of political parties in the country. We don't even question the source of their monies. You see young guys, you don't even know where they're getting their money from. And then it's behaving because they have money. And nobody can talk. Nobody can talk. So at least it's a cause of worry to some of us. Yes, we know we cannot be equal. Money is very important. But we see money that even the country itself. And that is actually worrisome. That is seriously worrisome. Thank you.
All right, Richard, thank you. Thank you for calling us. You can also call us. Let us know what you make of the NPP parliamentary primaries that took place on Saturday. There were pockets of confusion. There were so many reports, videos, and so on moneycracy or monetization, if you like. Delegates talking about how much they were expecting versus how much they received, and because of which they were going to decide who to vote for. And then there were some reports of misbehavior. I think we all saw Katie Hammond publicly in front of law enforcement officers threatening to beat up his opponent to a pulp. That came as a big surprise to me, seeing Katie Hammond conduct himself like that. And honestly, the police officers who stood by and just watched and didn't appear at the time to say or do anything also received a lot of bashing, if you like, fire on X and other social media platforms. So we'll play it for you in a moment, but let's talk to this caller. Hello.
My name is Aziz Donla.
Hi, Aziz.
Donla. I'm calling from Wa.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning to Roland and your entire queue. Welcome back, Bella.
Thank you, sir.
All right. First of all, I will thank Allah Almighty for giving us this opportunity. And then my greetings goes to the Upper West Regional Chairman Bonas, and Wa East MP. That's Dr. Sidi Jessel. Talking about the parliamentary elections that happened on the 27th of January. I think 27 MPs lost their seats, right?
Yes, at least.
It's a clear indication of total rejection of the NPP government. If you go to the grassroots of the party, the people are not happy with the party. How the president has run this country. A lot of them, drivers, market women, tailors, even journalists, everybody is crying about the hardships that this government has plunged us into. But then, it is not surprising that we have over 27 MPs losing their seats. Because the NPP government and their parliamentary candidates and MPs, they are not doing anything for the grassroots. Hence this result. But then, we want to cry to Ghanaians, please and please, we have cried enough. Let's give President Mahama the chance to also come and rule us. And I want to even use this opportunity, TV3, that the NDC party, if we are having issues with our parliamentary candidates and our MPs, but please, we are afraid that people, they may steal the election. If we are having a clear majority in parliament, come 2025, NPP cannot steal the election. And I'm predicting that NDC will have 172 MPs in parliament come 2025, and President John Dramani Mahama will be elected as president of this republic. But then, before I go down, Upper West, the traffic light is not working for the past 3 months.
Where in Upper West?
Upper West, what?
Okay.
A lot of accidents are happening in that particular traffic light.
Which particular one?
That's the main traffic light.
In Wa?
In Wa. Just last 2 months, a 50-year-old man was run over by a tipper truck.
Oh, no.
Now, must we wait for accidents to occur in Wa before that traffic light be worked on? Why are we doing this to ourselves? We need to rectify those problems. And I'm using this opportunity to call on the people of Upper West Wa to come and demonstrate for the traffic lights to be fixed. Hashtag fix Upper West traffic light. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aziz.
My name is Aziz Tonlan.
Yes. Thank you.
Aziz, you mentioned your name earlier.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for calling. You can also
Well,
call us. The number
intro and
is on the
outro.
screen.
So I
telling
guess he's making use of that. Well, talking about Katie Hammond, of course, the video is ready. We're going to play for you. For those of you who may not have seen it yet, this is exactly what he said at his polling center when he visited. The scariest part for me was Intibukra AK-47 and
humiliate him at the post and get him beaten. I'm just putting you on notice. I will not disorganize anything here. But get him wherever he is. He should leave town. Chief, they are about 24 years in the come and see. My top boys. Maybe. Now, Mr. Krami, who could they care for the 7? Mobile baby, no way, and President Ketua de Grau. Now they are begging. I said, now, what more Burunka day? Some of them came to my house, my patch, my trouble. Now, what about that? My trouble, without trouble, who free here? I'll poor like you. Over woman, Mr. Commander, and I am going to give him a showdown. 2 forms of showdown. I'll beat him here, I will humiliate him here, and then organize for him to be beaten physically. Thank you very much. I will be so
That's Honorable Katie. I don't even know if I should say honorable at this point. I mean, this was beyond distasteful, and I still don't understand why the security officers stood there and listened to him to the extent where he even referred to AK-47 and wondering why they have pistols and allowed, you know, in quotes, what he said to describe the people to still walk about freely. And, well, of course, you do understand that the genesis of this all stemmed from the fact that he was trying to get his other opponents even disqualified because, according to him, they were not party members. They had not done enough within the constituency to even merit that position to run, to represent the party. That was struck out by NEC in the NPP, and then eventually this happened as well. But it's very disappointing that he makes such a statement. This is a senior, you know, member of parliament. He's a minister for trade and industry. You cannot be making such comments.
And he's an old man.
Why, exactly.
So should know better.
Who says that, well, the young people in the country...
We don't have brains.
We don't have the brains. This is the man who has the brain.
And knowing that he was doing this in front of the cameras, he saw that there were cameras. He saw that there were police officers, and he conducted himself in this manner, comfortably, is even more concerning. And, okay, let's talk to this caller, and then we'll come back to that. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. What is your name?
My name is Yao.
Your name is?
Yao.
Yao. Okay, you're welcome to the show, Yao. What are your thoughts on Saturday's primaries?
Sometimes when you sit on TV and watch politicians how the celebrity morning when they are going to the family. And then at the same time, they come back and tell you there's no money, things are hard and all this. You think about these are leaders, they do not do all their work. Where did they get the money from? In the miracle, when they are going to the election, they get the money and then can spray the money. One delegate. I am a delegate myself.
You're a delegate?
Yes.
Where?
I'm not an NPP delegate. I am an NPP delegate.
Okay.
So let's talk about this and all. So sometimes when you sit down and see what is happening, I am a transporter. I know what it is. You know, it's 2021 year. You can go to the garage and buy car. Share money, 32,000. Now it's 65,000. And Sunday, they'll come and give you 400 Ghana cedis for a week. So are you in business or you are not in business? That's only one side. And when you go to the market, you see how the food stuff is costing, and then they'll increase it today. Tomorrow when you go there, then they will increase it again. And then they will tell you, these are politicians who tell you there's no money and all these things. But I watch Katie Hammond. It's a grown-up. Police officer is there. You see how he's speaking. You know, you can, if you get a chance, you can take a thing from the gun from the police officer and go and do whatever they want to do. But then the police officer is there and watching it. But when you see a woman, you see the police officer with the hands on those women, they see the politicians.
All right, Yao.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying something regarding what he also talked about, Katie Hammond.
Yeah, well, basically it was just really appalling. And these are our leaders. They should know better. They should be able to conduct themselves better. Elections can be very emotional. Tensions are high. But we should be measured in our utterances, especially when you're a leader and young people look up to you. If you suggest threats of violence and, you know, make such insightful comments and statements, it will not augur well for us, basically.
I have a question for him, however. So if his opponent was the one who has made this statement in the presence of security, threatening to beat him to pulp, what would he have done? I'm sure he would have petitioned not just the party executives, but even the security agencies to pick up this man and set an example with him. Why has nothing been done?
Nothing been said.
Why are they not acting? This is a man who has spent 24 years in Parliament. If he should win in 2024, then that means he's going to spend another 4 years in Parliament, total of 28. You cannot be a senior member of Parliament and make such a statement. A threat, in fact, it wasn't even just a statement, but a threat
of violence
on someone's life. And he's been allowed to walk free. I mean, how is this even possible?
And after he won, actually, during his victory speech, I expected him to retract or apologize or say something. Say something. But, you know, he hasn't said anything. We haven't heard anything from the party or from the security agencies. Nothing has been said or done about that behavior by Katie Hammond. There were other pockets of violence or pockets of confusion in other areas, like the near commotion in Bantama, for example. But let's talk to Lawrence, and then we'll come back to that. Hello, Lawrence.
Yes.
Yes, good morning. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Yes, Lawrence, what would you like to share on the NPP parliamentary primaries last Saturday?
Yes, I'm just sad about the minister's comment. If it happens that we, the other people, said this before the police, will they allow us to go without arresting us? Is the law discriminatory that when ministers, MP, they can say anything after before even police people? Even he said that, why are they using the AK-47 for? So you want them to use the gun to kill people, and these are NGOs. Tomorrow they will come and speak to the students, and they will be telling a whole lot of things. And when you go back to the parliament, you will do the worst. What part of country are we growing? I'm so sad. I'm so sad. And this MP will come to us and do campaign and vote for me. Please let the police do their work. It should be discriminating however innocent people and put them before the court. How they can arrest our MP.
All right. Lawrence, thank you. Thank you for that call. You can also call us. The number is on the screen. And by the way, you can make some good money this morning by cashing out. Dial *439# if you are a Vodafone subscriber or an MTN subscriber. You can win 1,000 Ghana cedis today. We'll give about 3,000 Ghana cedis out today or more, depending on how we feel as we go. But you can dial *439# and you can win 1,000 Ghana cedis. Select option 2. That's for TV3, and then you can win. All right, so that's it on the screen. If you're a Vodafone user, you are welcome to join us now. So not just MTN subscribers, but MTN and Vodafone, you're welcome to dial *439# and win 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah. I have this message from Kuku Ampia, who says, why are some even surprised by the utterances and actions of K.T. Hammond? He's a replica of the president. The only difference is his gray hair is differently shaped on his head. Cooks. And, well, Kofi Kwating says, what have you seen how you guys are measured in your condemnation of that despicable and reckless act of K.T. Hammond? For Christ's sake, we should say it as it is. Do you think if his action was towards a political opponent like the NDC, this would have happened? Well, if it was an NDC member, we all know what would have happened. And to see that the security officers or personnel were there and could not act, it also shows what the real talk is by the Inspector General of Police about how they intend policing the elections and what they actually do on the ground. And we've had a number of elections so far. Apart from by-elections, we've had the district-level election. We're now even having the internal election. We had the first one in November. We're having this one. And you can clearly see that there are individuals, even in the governing party, who feel marginalized by so-called bigwigs in the government or the party, who consistently are given or had done by those individuals. And the police and the other security personnel who are on standby just do nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Because with recourse to law, they have an action to undertake. Why is it that they are not using the law to, for example, if you issue a threat against a person and say that I'm using the law to arrest you?
I mean, do we even have to wait for the law? And Money, good morning to you. He says that if this were the UK, he would have resigned by now because he cannot be allowed to stay in Parliament.
Very true.
There are other MPs who have made, you know, even not as
less damaging statements.
less damaging statements, and they've had to resign. So why do we have someone like this who is a home minister making such a statement?
And the silence is too loud.
Oh my God!
The silence from party leadership is too loud. Nothing. We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, true.
About condemning his statement or calling him out. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And there's a question that someone is asking that. So the same youth that he said didn't have the brains are the ones who actually voted him to retain him as the, the face for the NPP within the constituency, and that's quite surprising as well. But let's take a look at some of the other areas where MPs may have lost or won. In fact, out of the 28 who unfortunately lost their seats, 10 of them are either ministers or deputy ministers. So 3 of them are actually ministers. So we have the Minister of Public Enterprises and Member of Parliament for Efia constituency in the Western Region, Joseph Kujo. He unfortunately lost his 4th-term bid to an officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority and secretary to the GRA board, Isaac Yao-Nyako Buama, who's also a lawyer. Then also the Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources and MP for Tano North in the Ahafo region, Honorable Frida Prempe, also lost. And, I was speaking to Musa Dankwa earlier, and I was asking that, could that statement that she made when the Akosombo dam spillage happened, and she said that, well, we asked the people to leave and they said they won't leave, could that have also played a role? And he didn't think that it was. In fact, they were sure she was going to win for some reason. They have admitted that that's one of the areas where they got wrong. But I'm sure that probably may have had a role to play in this, because you cannot make such statements again and expect that people will still want to keep you in power. But it could have been a lot of other factors as well. Also, the Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister, she's also the MP for Wali Wali in the Northeast region, Hajia Lariba Zuera, also lost her seat. Now, if you look at the deputy ministers who lost, there are 7 of them. In fact, the 2 deputy ministers for health lost their representation. So Tina Nayele Mensah, she's the MP for Wejak Bawe, in the Greater Accra region. She lost. And Mahama Asay Saini, the MP for Daboya Mankarigu in the Savannah region. Also, the Deputy Minister for Education, MP for Ebuakwa North in the Eastern region, Gifty Chum Ampofo, lost. Deputy Minister of Communications and Digitalization, MP for Jabin in the Ashanti region, Ama Poma Boateng, also lost. And we have a Deputy Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, also the MP for Ofinsu North in the Ashanti region, Collins and team, lost. Deputy Minister of Labour Relations, also the MP for Lower Himan Denchira in the Central region, Bright Rekubrobe, also lost. And Deputy Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, MP for Trobu, Moses Enim, also lost. So that's the update on the ministers and deputy ministers who will not be representing their parties in the 2024 elections.
I think generally with, apart from the outliers, the Global Info Analytics survey prior to the election seemed largely to be right.
Yeah.
And it gave us pointers as to why the concerns were following the dissatisfaction that had been expressed by the delegates. But it's also a vote of no confidence of the NPP members, as well as those who are decision makers within its own electoral college, on how well they deem fit the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Do they feel that the ministers of state, the deputy ministers, and I think even for those who are serving in some government corporations, have done well, and the verdict is all there for everybody to see. The gentleman who currently is the controller of Accountant General lost. It clearly shows that there are people in political positions put there and appointed there by the president and the vice president subsequently, who have not done good, not only to the public, but the generality of the NPP public. And if you have your own internal elections, and these are the verdicts, just less than a year before you go for the main election, you should be thinking over the past 7 and close to 8 years what you have done. Whether even within your own population, voter population, internally, you have done well by them.
Yeah.
This is a clear verdict.
Yeah. I have a message coming in from an anonymous person. Says that it should be recalled that Honorable Apia Kubi, who's complaining about the use of money, which source is not known, was among the majority MPs who took bribe, allegedly from a businessman, to step down their campaign for the removal of the finance minister. When he was asked to name the businessman, he refused. And so, well...
Allegedly.
Allegedly, of course, but I mean, regardless, we've all known about the monocracy, you know, in elections. Why is it taking an election like this for one of the MPs to speak out? Have they not known about this over time? And what have they done as a collective?
Fridges, television, money being packed
sewing machines,
in and out of... Fantastic. The next time they're going to share cars. They're going to share cars the next time. Now, this one is coming from MK Erickson, who says, are we serious in this country? We have a lot of people who are alleged, and some captured on camera, to have been involved in corruption and environmental terrorism, Galamsey. Yet, most people were obsessed with Sarah Jossafo losing her seat because at a point, she distanced herself from Parliament to help fight the wicked e-levy for Ghanaians. This is pathetic. Is that how you call it? Clearly neglected her duty, I think. Yeah.
Anyway,
Chief Mante says the way Kitty Hammond has been behaving, I suggest that he sees a psychologist or be taken to a psychiatric hospital.
Well, I think we'll wrap up our morning discussions on the NPP parliamentary primaries here, but let's take you through what we have for you for the rest of the day, all right? So after this morning conversation, we'll move on to the big issues, and Roland will be taking us through that.
Yeah, but before that, let's speak to Mr. Richard Kumador, who is a security consultant. Would like to find out from him, and of course, we'll not just make statements on here without getting an understanding of the law and how it should deal with persons who make such disparaging comments live on TV in the presence of security personnel. So, Mr. Richard Kumador, good morning to you.
Morning, Bella.
Thank you so much for joining us, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Congratulations on your marriage as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm sure you followed that video indicating how Katie Hammond threatened the life of one of his opponents during the parliamentary primaries on Saturday. How should the law deal with this, or what are your thoughts on this?
Definitely, politics has been very divisive, and we'll be warning that, particularly in election year, key political figures like him will need to be mindful of what they say and their actions. And if you remember, he, in particular, before these elections, he has been threatening his opponents. He was finding ways of disqualifying them, and the party gave them the go-ahead to contest him. I wasn't surprised at the end of the election he was threatening them again. What surprised me, however, was that he made those comments in the presence of the police officers who should have arrested him immediately, but they were asking him to calm down. On a typical election where he in particular is fan of saying some of those things going ballistic, he would have taken an action, or people who follow him would have taken an action that may not be immune to, the disadvantage of the people around. If his opponents actually brought macho men or vigilantes, which we have passed a law and we have spoke badly against, then the police shouldn't have even waited for him to make those comments. They could have arrested the other people. That is why when I set up the Independent Election Security and Compliance Workers, I have been of the view that law enforcement officers must act professionally. They must conduct their businesses in the atmosphere of fairness and be objective. And they shouldn't allow the politicians to drag them into the mud. This is a typical red flag of what is likely to happen on election day, December 7th, and we may not have large numbers of police officers at those particular places. I'm hoping the police is going to mark him as a red flag politician, mark his constituency as a red flag constituency, and ensure that they deploy a reasonable number of police officers there to be able to curtail any excesses that come with elections.
When you say mark him, are you saying that beyond that there shouldn't be any invitation to answer questions, at the police station? Or what exactly beyond just marking it as a red flag constituency?
Yesterday, I sent a message to somebody who deals with election-related security matters, and I believe that they have watched the video. And I added my voice that this is a typical red flag, and it's a warning sign to us as to what is going to happen. This particular election has thrown out certain things. You saw the number of police officers at Domi Kwabenya because of the contestations and the high risk level of that particular election. You saw Bantama. You saw another person was arrested, robbed. Money was robbed on the Sunyani, part of the Sunyani election. All these ones goes to the police, and the police has a way of building a database of high-level elections and high-risk places for elections. But besides this, I agree with you perfectly that he has to answer certain questions about his utterances. It's a direct threat. And it's against the rules of the game, and it's against our laws of this country. If they overlook it, then we go back to say that non-punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society. And this is one classical example of that.
I see. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us, Mr.
You're welcome, Bella.
Kumado. He is a security analyst, and of course, he says that the security should mark him as a red flag and his constituency as well.
Yeah, it should. And especially when we are just 10, 11 months down the lane to the main election. All these are giving the indications to the watchers of the election that will be coming up that they are individuals who are above the law. And I think that that's where the law enforcement agencies need to come in. And we know those who are responsible for it. Hitherto, before the last 2 or 3 elections, we had institutions like the CDD, the IEA, etc., coming hard at these political parties, especially the 2 main political parties, if they undertook any actions, especially within the space of elections, that did not go right or really were not according to law. And I think that these institutions, the National Peace Council, etc., should be coming in to condemn some of these actions. We cannot have an experienced member of parliament just talking, as we call it in local parlance, by heart, and just go away with it. Even the policemen are afraid of him.
Shocking. But anyway, for those of you who keep asking what's happening to Johnny's bites, Johnny has been on leave for a while, and so he'll return in due time to give you his bites on issues. But TV3 New Day continues, and of course, when we get back, the big issue will come your way with Roland Walker. Keep watching.